Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A crash and a fire. Crews find a charred SUV as an abandoned building burns in Durham. The search for the driver of that stolen car.
And tracking some showers, a little bit of light patchy rain in parts of the viewing area this morning. We can see more of that later on this afternoon. I'll show you where to expect it.
Former principal murdered. A teen is due in court today after she died weeks after she was shot. What we know about the two teens now facing charges. 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 50. I'm Ken Smith. We always appreciate your time. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Got some rain showers moving through, depending on where you are.
Just a little patchy light rain from the Triangle area north and east. And we'll zoom in and I'll show you who's seeing it. Up here near the Virginia line, around parts of Franklin County and right around Roanoke Rapids, south toward Rocky Mount, Wilson, Clayton, Smithfield, parts of Wake County as well. It's very light, very patchy. And here's what's happening. We have a lingering boundary sitting offshore, a low developed along that boundary, and that low is moving northward into a position where it's able to push moisture back across our area. So we did start to cloud up late yesterday, but we didn't see any rain. We just started to see the sprinkles a couple of hours ago, but it's been pretty steady on and off, of course, around Wake County in particular. We may see more of that this evening. We'll probably get a bit of a break during the middle of the day. You can see the water on the camera lens here in downtown Raleigh, looking down Fayetteville Street. It's damp out there right now, mid 60s as you're heading out the door. And it does stay cool today. Temperatures in the 60s up until lunchtime. We climb into the mid 70s for later on this afternoon. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at Futurecast, and I'll show you how long this drizzle could hang around. Chris?
And Elizabeth, this morning coming up on 8:02, those slowdowns continue to add up heading into downtown Raleigh. It's still about a 20-minute delay coming in from Knightdale. I'll break down why specifically here in just a second. It's a 5-minute delay coming in from Durham, 6 minutes on US 1 from Apex, minimal delay from Garner, but a 17-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. Now let's isolate that delay on I-87 connecting to the Beltline, a reported crash there. And every morning we try and tell you about some ways to get around it. Unfortunately, with this, there really is no good way to get around it, because even if you were to go 540 to New Bern Ave, you're still going to be stuck in a slowdown on the Beltline. So it's just one of those mornings where I think patience is your best bet, because even coming in from Capitol Boulevard, it's a slowdown as well. Heading into downtown Durham from Raleigh on Wade Avenue, no major delay coming in from Chapel Hill and Hillsborough. No major delays either coming in from the north and east. Delays are pretty minimal. We'll keep you posted as to whether or not that changes with you all throughout the morning on 101.5 HD3 on the radio.
Chris, thanks. Well, new this morning, we've confirmed the SUV that crashed into an abandoned apartment building that caught fire was stolen. Ali Kadlabar is on Lakeland Street in the WRAL Breaking News track. And Ali, investigators trying to figure out how all this unfolded.
Ken, within the past 30 minutes, we saw a fire crew return and just kind of inspect the building here. There are damages from that fire, and there's also damage from the crash. You can see that gaping hole there. That's where that SUV crashed into the building. You can see those scorch marks from the fire and also just crumbled bricks as well. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News tracker. You can see police even investigating and inspecting that car. It is charred. Now, Durham Fire Department responded to a building fire around 1:45 this morning, and when they showed up, they saw an SUV also on fire here. We know from Durham police that this car is confirmed to be reported stolen. Listen to this, though. Durham police responding and reacting to seeing that SUV inside the building.
It's kind of weird. There's a car in the building. It's an SUV. It's just very weird the way it's positioned.
Yeah, very interesting situation here. I also want to point your attention to this happened at the Lincoln Apartments. These are former Lincoln Apartments. They've been abandoned for the past decade, more than a decade. You can see it was already boarded up, now just also destroyed as well. And so we are trying to figure out what happened here, as well as how that crash and fire are related. We're going to keep you updated. We're staying on top of this. Reporting live in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Well, today, an 18-year-old is due in court charged of the murder of a former Wake County principal. Erica Lucas died this week after she was shot last month. WRAL's Laura Levine live outside the Wake County Justice Center this morning. And Laura, 2 teens are actually charged in this killing.
Ken, good morning. Wake Forest police arrested 18-year-old Dexter Mills as well as a 16-year-old in connection to the shooting. They're now both facing murder charges. Here at the courthouse today, Dexter Mills will be making his first court appearance. All of this comes after Erica Lucas was shot nearly 2 weeks ago at a home in Wake Forest on East Nelson Avenue. Lucas was the former principal of Roseville High School, and she's also the wife of Wake Forest High School football coach Reggie Lucas. She's been in the hospital for several days in critical condition. The community came together last week to pray for her and their family while she fought for her life. Wake Forest police said that Lucas was not the intended target of this shooting. We know that Dexter Mills, again, will be facing a judge here at 1:30 this afternoon. We'll continue to follow the latest developments in this case. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're staying on top of the aftermath of Russian drones entering Poland's airspace in the early morning hours. Now, we did hear from the NATO Secretary, Mark Rutte, just in the last 30 minutes. You can see him making a statement there. He says several other NATO allies were involved in taking these drones down, including Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands. We'll also show you some video from Poland earlier this morning. We know, based off of what the secretary said, this was not just Polish air defense at work here to take down these drones. Allies expressed their solidarity with Poland and denounced what they're calling Russia's reckless behavior. The NATO secretary says they're still working on a full assessment of what happened.
The family of a woman killed in a stabbing on a Charlotte light rail train says they're heartbroken by what happened. In a statement, Irina Zaritska's family says, quote, Irina came here to find peace and safety, and instead her life was stolen from her in the most horrific way. DeCarlos Brown is now facing federal charges for her death. The stabbing happened a little over 2 weeks ago. Zaritska's family says she'd recently come to the U.S. from Ukraine to escape the war with Russia. Brown could face the death penalty if convicted. Now, the video of that stabbing has gained increased attention from lawmakers from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. The lawmakers are outraged Brown wasn't in jail while he awaited trial for other charges. President Trump and other Republicans are blaming North Carolina Democrats, and Democrats are also calling for reforms to the criminal justice system. Legislators are vowing to investigate, and even the state auditor is weighing in on this as well, seeing those responses and who's being blamed in the NC Capitol team's report at WRAL.com. New information about the man involved in a 7-hour standoff in Franklin County. The county's top prosecutor says Fritz Fink is charged with firing in an occupied property. Deputies took Fink into custody early yesterday morning. We brought you this story as breaking news, if you recall. Investigators say he barricaded himself in a home on Twin Creek Drive near Bunn and fired at officers. Family members tell WRAL they called 911 saying Fink had been drinking and was firing at the walls in his home. Well, the Randolph County Sheriff investigating the death of a 7-year-old boy says he is not ruling out foul play. Searchers found Liam King's body in a pond near where he was last seen in Randolph County. Investigators say Liam's mother wasn't home when he disappeared. Her boyfriend, who lives at the home, was supposed to be watching him. Several agencies and volunteers searched for him for 2 days. Liam's body was sent to the medical examiner's office to determine a cause of that death. Well, this week we expect to get an idea of prices companies are paying and potentially passing on to you. First, there's the Producer Price Index releasing this morning around 8:30. It tracks the prices producers and manufacturers pay for their goods from retailers and distributors. You could pay more if those prices get too high and producers and manufacturers decide to make you pay for those increases. Now, in terms of what you're paying for goods, that's what we'll better understand tomorrow when the Consumer Price Index report comes out. Well, tonight is the first of 3 candidate forums for Durham's primary election. Voters will get the chance to meet candidates for mayor tonight. That will be at the Phoenix Event Center on Fayetteville Street. That event starts at 6 this evening and runs until 8 p.m. Candidates for wards 1, 2, and 3 will be having forums over the next 2 nights. Early voting for the primary starts next week. And Apex Road will stay closed into next year because of a sinkhole. This section of Olive Chapel Road collapsed after flooding last month. The state DOT says it will award a contract for repairs next month. In the meantime, though, crews are working to relocate underground lines. Olive Chapel Road is expected to reopen in late January. Detours are in place. Well, today we'll hear from Duke football coach Manny Diaz. The Blue Devils are set to face Tulane on the road this weekend. Duke will try to rebound after losing to Illinois at home last Saturday. We will bring you what Diaz has to say about his team during our early evening newscasts starting at 4. Safety protocols. Wake County schools talking about how ways to keep students safe. The questions leaders are raising about possible solutions. And DEI crackdown at NC State. A women's group on campus was suspended to comply with new UNC system policies. What we're trying to find out from the school about the future of that organization.
And it's a great start across our area. This is a live look at Franklinton, a little bit of water on the camera lens, and the street here is wet. You may not be seeing it right now, but I'll let you know if you could see some drizzle later on today. Coming up. 8:13, Dual Doppler 5000 radar showing just some light patchy rain, mostly just some drizzle happening across parts of Franklin County, Nash County, Johnston, and Wake County for the most part. Some other folks may see a little bit of it, but that's where mainly we've seen it this morning. What's happening is we have a low pressure system that's starting to feed in some of that moisture from the north and east and spreading westward across our area. It's a 20 to 30% chance this morning. Will likely be a little drier closer to lunchtime, and then later in the evening we may see another round. Here's a live look at Apex, where we had a few sprinkles earlier. You can see Salem Street was wet, but beginning to dry out, actually. And again, this is not something that's widespread, so if you're not seeing it, it's just going to be a gray day for today. Our temperatures are mostly in the mid-60s right now. After school practices, temperatures will be in the mid-70s. There could be just a little bit of drizzle out there. Chris?
Elizabeth, right now in the WRAL traffic center, a number of crashes that are dotting the landscape, especially in and around Raleigh. Almost too many to really go into detail with, but some of these have been in the general vicinity of Capitol Boulevard and also I-87. So we'll isolate those. You see the delays coming in on Capitol Boulevard, a 19-minute delay from Wake Forest heading into downtown Raleigh. And right now, a 10-minute delay coming in from Knightdale. We'll show you the delay times heading into Durham coming up in a few minutes.
Chris, thanks. New security features may be coming to Wake County schools. The school board looking into a plan that lays out how emergencies at large events like football games are handled. On Monday, an 18-year-old student was caught on campus with an airsoft gun in carry. Last month, shots were fired in different schools' parking lot. The school board also discussed possible new security features such as door locks and alarms. Board members are also trying to decide on the value of weapon detection systems.
What is the best way to deploy this in our district? What is going to be the benefit and what is the cost, and how do we leverage all of this?
Wake County schools now planning to conduct a new security assessment in the district soon. The last one happened back in 2019 and finalized in 2021. President Trump says the signature on a newly released image from the Jeffrey Epstein estate is not his. The image is drawn in a birthday letter that was given to Epstein back in 2003. It includes a note and what appears to be Trump's signature. The president responded to the story last night.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time knows that's not my language. It's nonsense. And frankly, you're wasting your time.
The Republican head of the House Oversight Committee is pushing for more Epstein documents to be released, but the committee does not plan to follow up on this particular note. A federal judge blocking President Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. The judge ruled the firing is likely illegal and that Cook must be reinstated immediately. Trump citing an investigation into possible mortgage fraud in his attempt to fire her. She has not been charged. If the Trump administration appeals, the case could end up at the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, overseas now, tensions are high in the Middle East this morning after Israel carried out a strike in Qatar. The strike happened in the capital city, Doha. Israel says it was targeting senior Hamas leadership. Hamas says 5 members died. Qatar's interior minister said members of its internal security forces were also killed. This appears to be the first time Israel has launched an operation against Qatar. Well, today, the climatological peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, and it's eerily calm. I just want to knock on wood. Let's bring in meteorologist Chris Michaels. And Chris, you're going to show us how rare this is and why we shouldn't completely let our guard down yet.
Yeah, definitely can't let our guards down, because according to the National Hurricane Center, 60% of named storms still happen after September the 10th. So if you want to think of it like a baseball game, we're heading into the top of the fourth inning, right? There's still, unfortunately, a lot of game to be played. But let's look back at September the 10th here. These are all the National Hurricane Center outlooks on September the 10th since 2009. Every single year since then has at least had something outlooked, if not something named. But this time around, again, as Ken was saying, knock on wood, there's nothing out there for the time being. Part of that has to do with some dry and dusty air that's coming in from the Sahara Desert. It tends to choke off the development and the moisture that's needed for these storms to develop. So that's one of the factors. Also, more frequent cold fronts in the eastern U.S. that increase wind shear that just kind of tear the storms apart. But when you look at the long-range outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, there's at least the possibility for development in the Caribbean and in that main development region. But yeah, definitely keeping our fingers crossed that this calm stretch can last longer into the season.
Yeah, my family in the Virgin Islands agree with you on that point. Hey, listen, students and staff at NC State are reacting after a group aimed at celebrating women's achievements is now suspended. This is part of the UNC system's compliance to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. The NC State Council on the Status of Women focuses on advancing gender equity and creating an inclusive environment for women. The group announced plans to shut down earlier this week. Some students we spoke with on campus say this speaks to a larger issue, while others don't think the suspension was a bad decision.
We have not come as far as people would like to think we have, because I think if the only thing keeping you accountable for being inclusive is federal laws and rulings, and then you get rid of it the second they're no longer mandatory.
For me personally, I haven't noticed a difference, and I didn't really know that it was there to begin with.
We reached out to the Vice Provost of Equal Opportunity at NC State to learn more about the move to suspend the organization and if it could be reinstated. We're still waiting to hear back. A new version of a popular attraction in western North Carolina is coming. Contractors approved a plan to build a new rainbow bridge in Lake Lure. The bridge was one of many structures destroyed during Helene. These pictures show what it looked like before the storm. It stood for decades and attracted pet owners from all across the state. And let's welcome in meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. And I'm sure you've been to Lake Lure. You've been, of course, at Rainbow Bridge. And boy, it's great to see it coming back.
It is, so many things. The Flower Bridge got destroyed, and we'll see if they're able to bring that back. But so slowly, Chimney Rock is coming around, and so are so many parts of western North Carolina. And they are asking for people to come. I mean, beautiful time of year as the leaves begin to change. So, anytime from the end of September through the end of October, they definitely need your tourism dollars. Right now, we're looking at a stalled front along the coast. It feels gray, kind of feels fall-like out there for us right now. This low pressure system rotating counterclockwise is spreading rain inland. It's mainly light and patchy, but we'll see it on and off today and potentially into tomorrow morning as well. Right now, mostly we're seeing it across parts of Franklin County, Nash County, down across Johnston County and Wake County. You may see a little bit of that up around Vance and Warren counties as well. We take a live look here at downtown Raleigh from our Jimmy V camera, looking down Fayetteville Street. You can see the street is damp. We don't have a lot of rain on this camera lens, but some of them are covered a little bit more than others. We definitely are seeing some sprinkles on some of the lenses out there. Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, definitely looking gray for us out there. Here's Futurecast. Starting right now, we'll pause it right around lunchtime, early afternoon, and you can see we get a break here. As a matter of fact, some of our western counties could see a little bit of sunshine that breaks out, but then after that, we're looking at more showers that move in, especially in our northeastern counties, and then that continues to spread westward as that low rotates offshore. Checking our rainfall totals, most of the rain out of this will be along the coast because that's where the low is, but the amounts there are light, only 1/4 of an inch. For us, from the Triangle area northeast, it's more like around 1/100 of an inch, so not a lot of rain out there. We could be dealing with this again tomorrow, especially in the morning, and then the pattern begins to break down, and we're looking at some sunshine as we get into the weekend, highs back into the low 80s. Today is statistically, actually, you're doing traffic next, aren't you? There you go. All right. Well, I'm so excited about the hurricane story that you did. It's on WRAL.com.
It is.
Traffic for you now.
And thankful that it is calm out there in the tropics. And in case you did miss that story, it is on WRAL.com. Let's talk about conditions on the road. They're pretty messy. You see a number of those accident markers in and around Raleigh, especially toward the northern side of town. There's almost too many to really zoom in on individually. But in the meantime, we'll isolate some spots. This is I-40 at Avon Ferry, where things are moving pretty slowly there, especially coming into town. And so a lot of that probably just has to do with even a little bit of drizzle. You guys know how it is. A little bit of drizzle can even mean some impacts on the roads. 8-minute delay coming in from Apex and from Durham. 18-minute delay from Wake Forest. A 15-minute delay coming into Raleigh from Knightdale. We'll give you another vantage point here. This is I-885 at TW Alexander. Things seem to be flowing relatively smoothly, but you do see a few backups there in the background of that image. So in terms of delay times heading into downtown Durham, it's a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from North Carolina 50, a 4-minute delay coming in from the north, but no major delays coming in from Raleigh, Chapel Hill, or Hillsborough this morning.
The future of FEMA. New numbers are telling us just how much North Carolina relies on the agency, what financial toll the state has already taken after Helene, and toddler tower tip-overs. 5 on your side has a warning on safety concerns with some kids' step stools.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. I'm Ken Smith. Depending on where you are, you might be seeing some light showers. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
We'll start with Dual Doppler 5000 radar. You can see that the rain isn't widespread. It's patchy. It's light. In between I-85 and I-95 north and east of the triangle is mainly where we're seeing that right now. So east of Rocky Mount, around Lewisburg, Zebulon, down towards Smithfield, and parts of Wake County. Hour-by-hour rain chances, just 20 to 30% this morning. A break around lunchtime, and then the potential for some more isolated light showers later on this evening. Our temperatures stay cool without the clouds today. Highs in the mid-70s. Chris?
Elizabeth, it doesn't take much to cause a little bit of a headache on the roads. This is a look at I-40 at Avon Ferry, and you see the backups there. This appears to be just your congestion of the morning coupled with some of the drizzle and light rain that we've seen so far this morning. As we're looking at some of the delay times coming into downtown Raleigh, it's your typical spots that we see having those delay times, especially Knightdale and Wake Forest at about a 10 to 20 minute delay, but also a 5 to 10 minute delay coming in from areas like Durham and Apex this morning.
Also this morning, crews responded to an abandoned apartment building fire in Durham. WRL's breaking news tracker was at that scene on Lakeland Street. Officers say a stolen car was also crashed into that building. No injuries were reported. And Apex Road will stay closed through January because of a sinkhole. A section of Olive Chapel Road collapsed after flooding last month. The state DOT says it will award a contract for repairs soon. Detours are in place. Next on Fox 50, how much North Carolina is relying on FEMA funding after disasters. And ahead on today, Steph Curry on his new book, Shot Ready.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 8:30, a stolen car, a crash, a fire, an abandoned apartment building damaged after the stolen car crashed into that building overnight. A look at the damage as investigators work to determine what happened.
And we do have some scattered showers and sprinkles out there this morning. We should get a break around lunchtime and then another chance later on in the evening. But not everybody's going to see this. I'll let you know if you're likely to need your umbrella.
And a former principal dies. A beloved former Wake County principal dies more than a week after she was shot. But we're learning about the teens charged with her murder before one faces a judge today. Thanks so much for being with us here in the 8:30 half hour. We always appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Weather Center. Depending on where you are, tracking some showers, yeah?
We have a low pressure system that's sitting offshore, and it's feeding moisture in from the northeast, pushing it southwest. So it's really just a small part of the viewing area that's seeing rain right now, and most of it's fairly patchy and light. A little bit of rain across parts of Franklin County, up around around Nash and Vance counties as well. And then back down here toward Johnston County, parts of Wake County. That's where we've seen some of this patchy light rain. Most of it's been drizzle. We have a lingering boundary offshore. A low pressure system riding up that boundary today is close enough to push cloud cover and a few sprinkles into the area. So we've seen some of that this morning. We should see a break around lunchtime, and then later in the afternoon and evening, some other folks may end up seeing some scattered light rain. Taking a look at Franklinton, you can actually see some of the raindrops falling. Mostly what we've seen so far this morning has just been some drizzle. It's a little heavier in Franklinton at the moment. Our temperatures in the Triangle are in the mid-60s, and we'll climb into the mid-70s later on this afternoon. I'll let you know if we're going to be dealing with this again tomorrow morning, coming up in just a little bit. Chris?
I'm hoping that's not the case, because this has been kind of the issue here. We'll take a break in the drizzle, whatever it takes, just to end this mess that we see in and around Raleigh. A lot of small crashes off on mainly some side roads, but there are some delays coming into downtown Raleigh. Some of your typical spots that now the timing is starting to be a little more typical, whereas earlier in the morning it was closer to about 20 minutes. About a 16-minute delay on Capitol Boulevard coming in from Wake Forest. It's about a 14-minute delay on I-87 southbound. This is a little bit better than what it was just about an hour ago when we were seeing 20 to 25-minute delays. It's not bumper to bumper, but it's slow moving on I-40 at Avon Ferry. A little drizzly there as well. I-885 at TW Alexander, things backed up a little bit as you're heading into downtown Durham. And in terms of delay times heading into Durham, a lot of those have been on the order of about 5 to 10 minutes, although coming in from NC 50, it's currently a 12-minute delay. We've got you covered throughout the commute on 101.5 HD3.
Chris, thanks. Right now, Durham firefighters are investigating after they found a crashed stolen car while responding to a fire at an abandoned apartment building. This happened at the old Lincoln Apartments on Dayton and Lakeland Streets. Ali Kadlabar was in the WRAL breaking news tracker, and she reports that investigators are trying to figure out how this is all connected.
There's damage from the fire and from that crash. You can see it behind me with that gaping hole right there. There's scorch marks, crumbled brick. That's where the SUV crashed into the building. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see that SUV is charred. Durham Fire Department responded to a large building fire around 1:45 this morning. It's at the former Lincoln Apartments. They've been abandoned for more than a decade. When they got here, they found an SUV crashed into the building. It was engulfed in flames. Listen to this, Durham police reacting to seeing that SUV crashed inside the building.
It's kind of weird. There's a car in the building. It's an SUV. It's just very weird the way it's positioned.
We know from Durham police that the SUV is stolen. We're working to find out if the crash and fire are connected. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, new images posted on BBC's website here showing the aftermath of when Poland's military struck down multiple Russian drones. Now, this is the first time drones have ever been struck down in a NATO country. The president of France reacting this morning about what happened. He says that he's calling this attack simply unacceptable. He says that he will speak with the NATO Secretary General soon, and they will not compromise on the security of the allies. So right now we're waiting on any reaction from President Donald Trump or any other leaders here in the U.S. We'll be sure to keep you updated here in the Live Center.
An 18-year-old is due in court today, accused in the death of a former Wake County principal. Her name is Erica Lucas. She died this week after she was shot in Wake Forest last month. WRAL's Laura Levine is outside the Wake County Justice Center, explaining why now 2 teens are now facing murder charges.
Wake Forest police arrested 18-year-old Dexter Mills as well as a 16-year-old. They're both facing murder charges. Dexter Mills will make his first court appearance here today. This comes after Erica Lucas was shot nearly 2 weeks ago at a home in Wake Forest on East Nelson Avenue. Lucas was the former principal of Roseville High School. She's also the wife of Wake Forest High School football coach Reggie Lucas. She's been in the hospital for several days in critical condition, and she passed away last night. The community came together just last week to pray for her as she fought for her life. We spoke with a former student who described how she felt supported as a young girl at her school.
It was really hard being like in Wake Forest as like a little Black girl, and she really made me feel comfortable, and she made me feel like I was okay, like I was safe. Like, and she was really good at that. She was really good at making someone feel like they were important.
Wake Forest police said that Lucas was not the intended target of this shooting. Meanwhile, we will continue to follow the new developments in this case as the suspect faces a judge here later today at 1:30 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Well, for the first time, we're hearing from the family of Irina Zarutska. She's the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed to death in Charlotte on a light rail train last month. Her family says, "We are heartbroken beyond words. Irina came here to find peace and safety, and instead her life was stolen from her in the most horrific way." The man charged in her death, DeCarlos Brown, is now also charged with a federal crime. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Zarutska's family says she left her war-torn home in Ukraine, where she had been staying in a bomb shelter. Charlotte's mayor says the city is increasing security on the light rail system as well. Well, today, the first of two economic indicator reports will be released, giving us a new gauge on inflation. First, there's the producer price index being reported any minute now. It tracks the prices producers and manufacturers pay for their goods from retailers and distributors. You could pay more if those prices get too high and producers and manufacturers decide to make you pay for the price increases.
They're absorbing it. They're cutting their profits. They're being very careful with hiring, which we saw with the latest job report. But I think there's a limit to what they can do. And I think we're going to be beyond that limit. So I'm looking for the PPI to go up. I'm looking for the consumer price index to also go up.
Well, in terms of what you're paying for goods, that's what we'll better understand tomorrow when the consumer price index report comes out. A new report shows how much North Carolina relies on FEMA funding to recover from costly storms. An analysis from finance website Value Penguin ranks North Carolina 12th in the nation for federal disaster aid. Between 2022 and 2024, North Carolina received more than $2.7 billion in FEMA funds. The Trump administration has signaled it wants states to handle more of their own recovery costs. That has raised concern about FEMA's future.
And so if that money goes away, it leaves it to the state to come up to fill that gap. Like most states, every state is scrambling to balance their budget as it is. And so having to come up with that much more money to help people after a disaster could prove extremely challenging.
And North Carolina's disaster reserve fund is nearly drained. It dropped from $720 million to $110 million this year. New federal rules now require a personal sign-off on disaster funding. That has delayed tens of millions of dollars in Helene recovery aid. A Wayne County woman is facing charges after investigators say she took at least $40,000 from an elderly person. 37-year-old Crystal Anderson is charged with felony exploitation of an older person. She also faces nearly 200 counts of obtaining money under false pretenses. This happened over a span of several months. She's in jail on $130,000 bond. A North Carolina teacher who's accused of being drunk in class is now facing charges as well. Alina Chabot was a teacher at E.B. Frank Middle School in Lenore County for just 9 days. Back in August 26, someone told a school resource officer that she was drunk. Deputies found an open container of alcohol and prescription drugs in her purse. According to a warrant, Chabot was too drunk to keep teaching for the rest of the day. She's also accused of grabbing and pushing 2 students. President Trump's emergency declaration behind the federal takeover of Washington, D.C. expires today. The mayor's office says troops and federal agents are likely to remain in the city. Trump cannot control the city's police force more than 30 days without Congress. Police say homicides, car thefts, robberies, and violent crime are down in D.C. since the takeover, but so has business from tourism. Republican lawmakers are introducing bills to expand federal control of D.C.'s justice system. President Trump says other cities are in his sights. Protests are ramping up in Chicago in response to a new ICE operation dubbed Operation Midway Blitz. The protests come as the White House says it plans to target undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes. While the timing of when Operation Midway Blitz, will start is unclear. Some say they believe it's already underway. But the U.S. Supreme Court is set to decide if most of President Trump's sweeping tariffs are legal. Yesterday, the court said that they will make the decision quickly. They agreed to take up an appeal from the Trump administration after lower courts found most of his tariffs illegal. The justices will hear the case in November and the rule at some point after that. The tariffs will stay in place in the meantime. Right now, the U.S. Coast Guard is investigating after nearly 70 shipping containers fell off a cargo ship in California. This happened yesterday morning at the port of Long Beach. Authorities say no one was hurt. One of the access points to the port had to be closed as crews worked to secure and remove those containers. Coming up, we kick off our Teacher of the Week segment with a Millbrook High School teacher giving his students a voice through dance. Also, a new stadium coming together. Work is underway to put together the brand new stadium for the newly renamed Wilson Warbirds. We'll show you more of the construction progress. And let's give you a live look from downtown Raleigh this morning. You see a little bit of raindrops there on the lens. Another cool day as well. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner shows us which parts of the area stand the best chance of seeing some showers today.
8:45, taking a look at satellite and radar. We have this low that's spinning just offshore. It is feeding moisture back into our area from the northeast, spreading back to the southwest. Mainly, we're seeing this in our northeastern counties. It's been mainly light. I pulled up the camera there in parts of Franklin County a little while ago, and it was kind of coming down there. But you can see it's very patchy, and mostly what's happening is we're seeing some light showers. But north of Lewisburg, a little bit of rain. North of Zebulon, Zebulon itself seeing some showers, stretching down towards Smithfield. Wilson County now starting to see just a little bit of patchy light rain, mostly some drizzle out there. We should be seeing a bit of a break around lunchtime, and then later in the afternoon and evening, we could end up seeing another round of just some light showers. That could linger into tomorrow morning. We're definitely looking at gray skies. Wilson is looking gray, so is Durham, and looking at temperatures mainly in the mid-60s. Dog walking forecast, it's just a little damp out there, but not everybody's seeing rain. Our temperatures will climb into the mid-70s this afternoon, and again, there may be a few sprinkles late this evening. Chris?
One of the new crashes that we're following this morning was reported within the last 10 minutes. Lewisburg Road at Fox Road, reportedly some injuries with that, and you can see the backups there as you're trying to connect to I-540 heading down into downtown Raleigh. And the neighboring road, Capitol Boulevard, obviously one of those that has slowdowns at this point in the morning, and currently that's a 14-minute delay heading into downtown Raleigh.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, this morning we kick off our weekly Teacher of the Week segment at Millbrook Magnet High School. A dance teacher you're about to meet is adored by his students and lauded by their parents, who credit him with making a difference in their children's lives.
Once you get here.
Motion and movement are part of Darius Anthony's DNA. He's transformed his passion for dance to the classroom at Millbrook Magnet High School.
I do ballet, jazz, hip hop, contemporary, modern, like so many more. There you go, cookie dough. Yes, that is my fave.
Anthony's interest in the arts started when he was the same age as his current students, as a member of his school's Color and Winter Guard.
I love that. Okay, great.
An interest in teaching it deepened when he took his first dance class in college.
How much time do we need? Like a minute? So,
from the classroom to the stage, sometimes performing with his students, he gives them a voice through dance, listening to them and discovering the dance styles they want to learn or perform.
I want to create a safe space for everyone, a judgment-free zone. Like, this is where people come to feel safe.
Mr. Anthony, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations. Enthusiastic students there. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com, enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. Well, there will soon be a new way to manage your Raleigh water accounts. The city will launch a new billing portal in November. It's called Raleigh Water Self-Service. The goal is to make it easier to manage your accounts. It will be able to pay bills, update information, and request services anytime and anywhere. If you use AutoPay, keep in mind you will have to re-enroll by November 12th. In Wilson County, the new Warbirds baseball stadium coming together. Take a look at your screen. The Wilson County Tourism Authority posting this photo of the seating being installed right now. The stadium is the new home of the former Mudcats, now renamed the Warbirds. The new stadium will have a picnic area, club lounges, and luxury suites. The ballpark is expected to open next April, just in time for the start of the baseball season. The town of Garner already preparing for next summer, believe it or not. Leaders broke ground on a new splash pad at White Deer Park. It's expected to be ready early next year in time for the spring and summertime heat. The splash pad will be next to the picnic shelters and bathrooms. It's part of a broader plan to make improvements at parks all around that area. Toddler towers have become a must-have in many homes with young children. They give kids a boost to cook and play and learn alongside their parents. But as Ashley Rowe explains, a new Consumer Reports investigation uncovered serious safety hazards with these towers.
With guardrails and other safety features designed to prevent falls, toddler towers are marketed as a safer alternative to chairs or step stools. But reports of kids falling out or tipping over in the towers surfaced both to the Consumer Product Safety Commission and in online reviews.
There's a really wide range of quality in toddler towers on the market, and safety standards have not been established yet for how they're made or tested.
Consumer Reports conducted its own independent tests of 16 popular models. The results? 13 of 16 towers failed the stability test. The test simulates what happens when a child leans to one side of the tower or climbs up the side. CR reached out to the manufacturers. The 6 who responded said their products passed internal safety tests. If you're shopping for a toddler tower, look for a strong, wide base and with a heavy frame and a low center of gravity. You're going to want to avoid large cutouts and wide rails. And the top guardrail should be above the child's belly button. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
All right, we're going to tempt your sweet tooth right now. Cookie lovers, get ready and get your wallet ready. The Girl Scouts announcing adding a new cookie flavor to its roster. The new addition is a Rocky Road-inspired cookie called Explore Moors. The new chocolate cookie has a creamy filling with chocolate and marshmallow and toasted almond-flavored cream. Come on, I'm ready to make an order right now. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Garner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center. I'm sure you're with me on this.
Absolutely. I cannot wait till Girl Scout cookie time. So many things that we look forward to in the fall, for sure. Maybe we look forward to gray days. I don't know. We definitely see some of those. We've had some pretty weather lately, but we're looking at a northeasterly breeze, kind of like what we saw on Sunday. It was, cloudy. We had a little bit of drizzle. We're seeing lots of cloud cover with this particular pattern, which we call the wedge or cold air damming. We have wind that's coming in off the northeast or off of the Atlantic. It brings some light rain and sprinkles, and it keeps our temperatures on the cool side. So it doesn't look like much on dual Doppler 5000 radar until we zoom in, and you can see some scattered light rain just west of Rocky Mount, the northern part of Johnston County, parts of the I-85 corridor, and west of I-95. So right there in that little pocket, it's all coming in, as you can see, from up around the Norfolk area. This low is sitting offshore just to our north and east, and it's pushing in that cloud cover, enough moisture for a few isolated showers out there. And this does continue. Notice around, say, 9 or 10 o'clock, we may get another wave that comes in. Should be on the drier side right around lunchtime. But this is likely to continue into early tomorrow morning. There's 4 a.m. As we move on out to 6, 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow, we're still dealing with a similar pattern that we're looking at right now. Here's a live look at Franklinton. A good bit of water on the Camerlands. We're still seeing some fairly heavy drizzle there in Franklinton, and we're seeing pockets of that across the area, especially east of the Triangle. 65 is our current temperature. Currently, we take a look at downtown Raleigh. Actually, Fayetteville Street has started to dry out a little bit. We had some light rain there earlier this morning, but that has tapered off for now, which is good news. Temperatures are mainly in the mid-60s right now. 64 Apex, 63 in Knightdale, 64 in Holly Springs. And we may make it into the mid to upper 70s, even low 80s around Fayetteville if we see that rain stopping for a little while, which it should. Normal highs 84. We are likely to see the clouds breaking up by Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Should be really nice. Our humidity will stay low. But is it all, are we going to see fall for good now? We'll actually see temperatures normal or close to normal as we get into early next week with a lot of sunshine. No 90-degree days in this 7-day forecast, which is good news.
That is definitely good news. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks. Before we head to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check of weather and traffic after the break.